Так. Я вроде починил. Ну-ка. Ну-ка. Ну-ка, сейчас все должно работать. Где там Мишаня? Так, ну ладно, типа, поехали дальше. Чем? Может, типа, не надо верить этому генератору, надо просто бежать? Да! Еретики! Ай! Ой! Ой! Ай, захуй. Так, нет, не надо останавливаться, надо бежать.
I could sense the movement in the woods ahead. Facing the enemy without a weapon was dangerous, but I had no choice.
Ну-ка. Ух! Ух, добежал, бежал. Погнали дальше. Они тут не пройдут мимо фонаря. Это чё?
Car was driving away from the farm, headed in the same general direction as I was. For all I knew, it was Barry, caught in the consequences of leaping before looking.
Мощный фонарик. Ну хапай. Мощного фонарика этот свет сильнее и этот, дольше живет. Насчет свет сильнее, может, я, конечно, не прав.
The car was heading for the cabin up ahead. It wasn't far. If it was Barry, I would see the damage soon.
Разрушение. Да ну нахрен. Это что, резик 7? Здоровенько.
I'm trying to deliver each page to the right time and place. I'm trying to show you how the story goes.
I had seen glimpses of the light before. I had seen it in my dream. It was a strange spaceman or a diver in a bulky suit. He was the one who'd been placing the pages on my path.
Давайте почитаем, что ли. Одержимое.
I turned the corner, afraid of what the flashlight's beam might reveal. Suddenly, a roughly painted symbol of a torch glowed in the light. Behind it, hidden by a rock, sat a battered metal trunk. It was here for a reason. Packed with supplies, batteries, flares, ammo. Things you need to make it through the darkness of the night. Something left behind by someone who knew what I knew, and more. Agent Nightingale didn't want to be in Bright Falls. These little communities revolted him, and he didn't like the trees or the coffee. He now knew that impossible horrors lurked behind the storefronts and smiles. He desperately wanted to turn the car around and just drive until he passed out or ran out of road and booze. But he had a job to do. He had a rider to catch, and he cost.
Ну-ка.
On more than one occasion, Alice had tried to explain to me how it felt to be afraid of the dark. To her, darkness wasn't simply the absence of light, but something more tangible than that. It was something you could touch and feel. Worse than that, it was something with a mind of its own, something malicious and malign. For her, things changed when they were wrapped in darkness. They turned into something else, something foreign, and nothing was safe or innocent anymore. I'd never really understood what she meant, until now. The night had been one desperate situation after another. I was exhausted, and my body felt as though it had been chewed up and spat out. The flashlight was heavy in my hand, and each pull of the trigger sent a painful shock up my arm. But I was finally out of the woods, and things were looking up. That's when I heard the chainsaw. When Barry saw the darkness attack the visitor center, it made him a believer. The men Al said he'd shot, they hadn't been just locals on crank. Somehow the world had changed, like the channel had been switched without warning. You think you're watching a sitcom, and you're really watching a horror show. When the birds started attacking the cabin, Barry wasn't surprised, just terrified.
Ну да.
Sarah didn't care about the legal threats Wake's agent had made. She let Wake go without argument, because there was something about him she couldn't quite put her finger on. Something that reminded her of her father. She didn't think Wake would hurt his wife. Then she thought about the way he waded into Hartman, that hair-trigger rage flaring up without warning.
Может, он реально ее убил
The
там.
logging site was a mess. The modular office had been pushed off the cliff. Deputy Thornton climbed up from the wreckage excited, breathing hard from the exertion. Nobody there. It's weird. Don't you think that's weird? Bored, Mulligan let out a mighty snort. Hell, it's always weird, Thornton. Just a question of sorting out what kind of weird it is this time around. Mr. Randolph liked Rose. That little smile she had. How she was still sweet when life had tried so hard to make her bitter. It wasn't any of his business what she did in her trailer. But those strangers, the writer and his smart-ass sidekick, looked like trouble. And they'd been in there for hours, way past her normal bedtime. He reached for the phone and called the sheriff's station. For decades, the darkness that wore Barbara Jagger's skin slept fitfully in the dark place that was its home and prison. It was hungry and in pain. It dreamed of its nights of glory when the poet's writing had called it from the depths and given it a brief, terrible taste of power and freedom. The rock stars had stirred it from the deep sleep the poet had sunk it back to in the end. When it sensed the writer on the ferry, it opened its eyes.
Прикольно. Так,
Nightingale stared through the broken studio window into the dark woods. He turned around, started to walk out, but Maine grabbed his arm. "Young man, you almost shot me. You don't shoot off rounds at people like that. What's the matter with you?" Nightingale shook his arm free, marched out. His cheeks burned with rage and humiliation.
Humiliation, унижение.
The pipe wrenched itself loose from the bridge's steel framework. Wrapped in darkness, it floated in midair, twitching. For a moment, I didn't understand what I was looking at. The heavy object lurched at me with impossible force. I threw myself out of the way, but just barely. When I turned my flashlight on it, it shook in a dark rage before it flew at me again. I slammed the door shut right in his smug face. He pleaded for me to open the door. True to form, the asshole actually thought I would obey. I had no sympathy left, no guilt either, not for him. I took a moment to savor the scream. I bet I had a smile on my face. It was all that I had time for. The dark presence was inside the lodge with me.
Это он. Его когда сожрала это.
The darkness surged towards me, sucking everything loose from the ground into its depths, tugging at my clothes. I saw the flare the kidnapper had dropped and threw myself towards it just as I felt my feet leave the ground. The darkness embraced me with the force of a tornado. Somehow I managed to light the flare. The darkness roared and cast me away. I fell toward the dark waters of the lake far below.
А вот тут неправда, он в этом он схватил фальшфейер.
When Thomas Zane fell for Barbara Jagger, it happened fast.
А,
She
Томас.
was young, vibrant and beautiful, full of life. He had never been a very happy man, and without any seeming effort, she had changed all that. Zane felt good for the first time in his life. Everything she did was another piece of the jigsaw puzzle he hadn't even known he'd been missing. And best of all, she made the words flow, strong and sharp. She was his muse.
А, он писатель был, вот в чем прикол.
Some of the Taken retained echoes of their former selves, but these were just the nerve twitches of a dead thing. Nothing remained but a shell covered and filled with darkness. In most cases, these puppets were enough for the purposes of the dark presence. But for anything more elaborate, as with the writer, it was different. It needed his mind. And so rather than taking him over completely, it merely touched him. I stared through the bars of the jail cell. Barry stood behind me, swaying on his feet, looking as ill as I felt. Agent Nightingale stood on the other side of the bars with Sheriff Breaker. Nightingale had a stack of manuscript pages in his hand. He seemed unhinged as he gloated. "Well, I've got you now, Raymond Chandler. It's all here. All the evidence, including conspiracy to murder a federal agent."
Чего? Кого?
Even behind the closed doors and curtains of his grimy room at the Majestic, the local motel, Nightingale could feel the locals' eyes on him, the unrelenting pressure of their judgment. He forced it out of his mind. For all he knew, they could all be under Wake's spell already. You do what you have to do to get the job done. He took comfort from the bottle in his hand. Please, he thought, just let me get through this.
Ну-ка. Так, что тут мод?
Mott had checked all of Stucky's rental cabins. There had been no sign of the Wakes. It was dark when he'd found their car parked at the end of the road by Cauldron Lake. It made no sense. They must have taken a wrong turn, but there was no sign of them, and the car had been there for hours already. Frustrated, Mott stood on the rotten ruin of the footbridge that had once led to Diver's Isle before it sank beneath the waves years ago. The boss wouldn't be happy.
То есть они реально туда приехали.
I tried to hold on to Alice, but her form melted away. I was losing control. Dr. Hartman stood in her place. I wanted to hit him, but my arms were jelly. He smiled. It was a reassuring smile, and I hated him for it. "I had to give you a sedative. Don't fight it. You went through another rough period. Right now it's very important that you stay calm. We don't want you to have another episode. You're a patient at my clinic. Have been for a while now."
Так.
For Mott, spying on the writer on the ferry had been a disappointment. His boss had made Wake out to be something special, but Mott hadn't been impressed. He'd gotten a good long look at the wife, though, and he liked what he saw. Mott had fantasized about goading Wake into a fight, but it hadn't happened. Still, he'd get his chance to see if
Мод,
Ryder had
это чё
anything.
за...
He'd been promised as much.
Мод это, походу, этот, похититель.
Lightning flashed behind the windows of Cauldron Lake Lodge. Tor Anderson laughed and held the steel hammer above his head. Nurse Sinclair was trying to calm him down without success. Tor grinned madly and shouted, "My hammer's up. Here's a friendly poke from Molnir, wench." He brought the hammer down with all his might on Sinclair's head. "We're on a comeback tour, baby."
Красиво. Ебать.
Zane could feel the poems, taking form, shaping things. As he experimented, he imagined he could almost feel the power surging through the keys of the typewriter. It exhilarated him. But there was fear, too. If not for his young assistant Emil, he would have given it up. But Emil convinced him otherwise. He too had a way with words.
А, этот грёбаный стул, сука.
Hartman
Ну-ка.
kept talking, giving Barry the grand tour, clearly proud of the place. He went on and on about his hunting trophies, and Barry was impressed. But he was here on business. He raised his voice, cut through the monologue. "Hey, Hartman, where's Al?" Hartman stopped in mid-sentence, annoyed at the interruption. He nodded at the hulking orderly standing nearby. The man smiled and clapped a practiced hand on Barry's shoulder.
Так. Да идите. Короче, потом еще почитаем, задолбался. Ай, блядь. Не видно. Давай, давай, давай.
Someone had left a gun behind. Now I had a fighting chance of reaching the farm.
Бля, теперь у меня только ружье есть. Только ружье. Теперь они мне даже револьвер не дали. У меня теперь только ружье. Тут можно подняться. Погнали. Значит, тут что-то есть. Проблема на жопу. Единственный, сука. Открывай. Отсюда можно вылезти. Я уже думал, что все. А, не, вот сюда вот можно. То вот так вот. Все, вон тут больше делать нехрен. Погнали. Так, блестящий. Блестящая херовина. Еще одна. Тычки. Спички. Их там двое. Их там больше. Да господи. Меня твоя рука вообще не парит. Ай. Вау. Ух ты. Пацана выжгла.
I could see the car, but there was no sight of the driver.
Угу. То есть пацан приехал, он походу уже больше не уехал.
Hello? Anybody here? Barry?
No! Danny, you're not! Please! What are you? No!
I know you. You were in jail the other day.
I went to the farm again for the moonshine, you know? It makes you see. They're not gonna miss it. They're in the loony bin. My buddy, Danny, I lost him. Something's gone wrong with him. It's not him. Like a real bad follow-up to a real good movie. The best friend's suddenly bad guy who wrote this crap anyway.
Пойдем, что в окно вышел? Ах,
I've
здесь.
run through every possible course in my head. If I continue like the Dark Presence wants me to, the story I'm writing won't save Alice. It's a horror story, and it's going to kill her, and me, and everybody in this town. No one will survive. Darkness will consume everything. This is what it's wanted all along. It will be free, unstoppable. It used Alice to get to me, dangled her in front of me to keep me going. It was never going to release her. I'm going to change this. I'll escape. I've written myself into the story. I'm now the protagonist. This feels like a terrible risk, but it's the only way to save Alice. I'll be bound by the events of the story just as much as anyone else who's been woven into it. The story must stay true for this to work. There have to be victims along the way, near escapes, cliffhangers. In a horror story, it can't be certain that the hero will succeed or even survive. He almost has to die. I'll write my own escape into the story next. I need help. Zane's going to be the one who'll help me. I'll make it happen.
Круто. Я думаю, что он с тебя хватит.
Let me guess. Danny, huh?
Патрон на дробовик. Отлично. Отлично. Куда теперь-то? Туда, откуда он пришел? Да.
The farm was still a good distance away. I'd need a car to get there fast.
Так она, вот она, прям перед тобой. Свет не горит, значит.
If Barry wasn't up here, he was probably in trouble down at the farm. For a moment, I felt bad for doubting him. After all, I'd made it this far myself. But Barry was Barry.
Вышел посреди дороги, чтобы хапануть кофейку. Гайс, если здесь кто-то сидит, и я не вижу, как вы пишете в чате, напишите мне в ВК, я чат обновлю. Ферма туда. А мне сюда. И плюс УАЗик лучше. Опа, пацаны за мной пришли. Или нет? Давайтнин. Шумка. Так-то лучше. Это что? Литий. Отлично, люблю литий. Хороший металл. Так, ладно. Эй? Говенное место. Ай! Ладно, не получил урона. Ладно, лазик из майн. Погнали, наверное. Я сейчас что-то вспомнил. Когда-то я решил не подниматься в гору, думал, что туда надо будет потом вернуться. А нет, походу на втором прохождении надо будет подниматься вообще везде. Идти везде. Ну, в принципе, я сейчас уже примерно знаю, что, куда, зачем. Шел. Ой. Охотничье ружье. Черт знает, на дробовик там что с патронами-то? 14.
Well, as I'm sure everyone's noticed, that storm we all felt coming is finally here. The boys at the Weather Service reckon it'll last until morning at the very least. Pertaining to that, let me read that missing persons alert again. The Sheriff's Department's still looking for a Caucasian woman, 30 years old, slim and blonde with blue eyes. She may be lost in the woods, and it's possible she's been injured in a car accident. If you see her, please make sure you get her indoors and call the sheriff. It's bad weather to be caught out in, so if you see someone in the area who maybe looks a little confused, give them a hand, all right? This is Pat Maine on KBF FM. Hoping you're all safe and warm tonight.
Не всем тут надо оказывать помощь, кто выглядит немножко не так во тьме. Ладно, ладно. А я вот сейчас сяду в машину. Да и все, че. Вот так вот. Как в спецназе учили. Я тебя ща Ай-яй-яй-яй-яй, как нехорошо. Поехали. Это мой лазик. Что хочу. Все ж. Сох. Беги отсюда. Ох и зря, ох и зря. Бегом до машины. It's time to go out. Ладно. А теперь это небольшой такой полицейский разворот и поездочка вниз. Салон не расколупать машину второй раз. Нихт. Так. Так, ладно, пока его там тьма защищает, я пока этих долбанов попереезжаю. Опа, его вообще можно с места убивать. Сам. Ай. Стоп, что с машиной? Машину ломает, машина не взрывается. Это тебе не пупка. Подожди, тут можно же проехать. Ну, давай. Ну можно же. Минус тачки. Обидно. Тупо выжгу, короче, пацана. Ёкарный бабай. Пошли вниз. Что такое? Походу, что-то надо будет делать. Этот дом лутный. Да, это лутный. Кому? Факел не всегда безопасная зона. Ладно, пора юзать револьвер, по-моему. Какой дота. А это что, то есть сына? Сына! О-о-о! Ух ты ж мать! Да ну чё? Не-не-не. Сегодня не твой день. Пошли пешком. Радиация, блядь. Так.
I'd known the brothers used to be some kind of rock stars, but it hadn't really sunk in until I saw the stage.
Al! Run! Incoming! There's too many of them!
God damn!
I'm so glad you decided to go it alone, Mr. Bronson.
Ладно, ща, это крутой момент.
I'm so glad you decided to go it alone, Mr. Bronson.
Shut up and shoot! Al! We have to fight them off! I can set off more of the fireworks from here and help you out! Hey, Al! Did you notice there's a lot of ammo and stuff around? This place is stopped! Al, hold on! I'm trying to get the stage lights on! For Barry, please, please, please!
Ебой... Ай, блин. Да ну камон, чё все заново что ли? Блин. Ау. Кто там, блядь, кидает сквозь сцену? Сыпали. Вот это пушка. Подхил. Бэм, бэм. Бам, бам, бам. Ебой. Отстоц, перевертос. Здравствуйте, ребята.
Bright Falls, rock and roll capital of America.
Hey, Al! This way to the farm!
Так, ладно, патроны кончились. Поэтому мы хапаем сейчас все тут на ружье. Тут дофига патронов на ружье было. Так. Офигительного просто... Да, хорош. Офигительный этот. Светилово. Просто фонарик лучший. Тупо лучший фонарь. Просто посмотри на эту банину. У меня такой дома стоит. Опа. Это ведь страничка, прикинь. К нему подойти, на чтобы он еще побежал, блин. Так.
See, bestseller, no reason to worry. Your cutout's good as new, right where I left it. I'll come back for it once we have the place secured.
Yeah, that's been my biggest worry all this time.
Hello. Что происходит? Так, самое тут не провалиться сейчас. Ой!
Hey, I think Alan Wake here has something to say. What's that, Al?
Ooh, I'm Alan Wake. I'm always right about everything. And if I don't get my way, I'll solve all day long. I always intense and moody. It makes me attractive, mysterious.
Отвали.
Wow. You look at that thing, Al. They really went all out with this Viking crap, didn't they? Look at all this stuff. They must have done okay for themselves. So how come I never heard of these guys before?
And this from the guy who learned about Ozzy Osbourne through reality TV?
We all spend
Oh,
a third of our
Night
dreams in a
Springs.
soft embrace,
Man,
somewhere
where's
between
that memory?
fantasy and
Hey,
oblivion.
remember when I got you that gig?
But
Your
dreams
first
are
real
ways of
writing
forcing
job. What got you
themselves
started?
into life,
Was this one of your
vice
episodes?
versa. In Night Springs. Tonight's episode, The Dream of Dreams.
That's by someone else.
We join Mr. Jones as he explores the endless dreamscape, only to be brought to
Давай
a
посмотрим.
stop by a decidedly mundane situation. A long line of people.
Hey, it's Jones, right? Listen, we're gonna have to wait until His Highness over there is good and ready. Oh, wow. Who's that? You don't know him? What are you, new? He's the guy dreaming us. Well, not just us. He dreams everything. All of this.
But wait, no. I'm the one who's dreaming. I'm asleep. Isn't this my dream?
Oh, yeah. Sure. Get real, pal. You're just another dream. I'm a dream. You're a dream. The weirdo in the diving suit is a dream. And the girl made of smiles and sunshine is definitely a dream.
But I'm pretty sure I'm dreaming this.
Well, maybe you're a really confused dream. What am I, a shrink? All I know is I'm going with the smart guys, and they say that's the guy doing the dreaming. Right there.
I don't know what that means.
It means we keep him happy. No sudden falls. We make sure he has his clothes on when he goes out in public. No chases where the monster is nipping at his heels and he runs like crazy, but his legs don't seem to get him anywhere. None of that. Because if he wakes up in a cold sweat...
Oh.
Yeah, precisely. So we wait till he wants to move on. Keep things nice and calm.
Hey, something's happening here.
Yeah? What's that?
What? Can't you hear that?
Oh, God help us. It's an alarm clock. Oh, it's you, isn't it? Please, man, I got a wife and kids. Please don't wake.
Криповенько ебаться. Че, у меня фуловый, что ли, все? Винтовочка, кстати, ничешная такая. Зря я не пользовался. Дробовик тоже. Ну, дробовик тоже ничего такой, но все-таки винтовочка это винтовочка. Фельдш. Тоже винтовочка. Батарейки больше не лезут. Оу! Что это было? Подожди, а куда нам? Где-то... А, вон лестница, наверное. Пялил, блин, на нее. И так ушел дальше.
The Viking boat looked imposing, almost like a battering ram.
А, я понял. Я думал, это еще одна хреновая. Что такое? Рагнарок. Прикольно. Raven Fury. Что-нибудь полезное? Нет. Ну тогда нажимай. Ой. Ау. Нажимай. Так, а собственно говоря, вот за нами. Да и пришли. Откуда? Пара-па-паря-па. Где он там? Бам! Че и желаешь? На! Не понял. ХП, дробовичные патроны. Еще. Перезаряжаю. Все. Опа, это какой-то... Это босс. Мини-босс, на самом деле. Фонарик, отдыхай. Бойся меня, смерть твоя, сволочь. Пам-пам-пам-пам. 5 выстрелов, блин, ему в хавальник. Или 6 даже. Не, по-моему, 5. Не. Похер. Фрукиар. Самое, чтобы не прохерачивал током. А там, тип, совсем разберемся. Вращательные элементы. Окей. Нет. Ой, захерачил. Так, ладно, хапай. Вот так вот. Окей. Машина сжигабельна только под прицельным. Ну, что-то должно быть, но без вариков. Что-то тут. Их хули я сюда ходил? Это что за нахрен? Это ничего. Нахрен это? Лул. Ну ладно. Окей. Ну, погнали так. А, это единственный проход. Типа так надо было. Самогон, что ли, аппарат?
Wow, those geezers had quite a production going on. Ooh, you know what, Al? If we make it through this alive, I'm gonna start representing them. Yep, sell this stuff online, maybe get a reality show going, release a new single.
Good luck with that, pal.
Hey, you find us a way out, okay? I'm gonna take a closer look at this stuff. Be careful, Al!
Где-то нахер. А, тут столько патронов на дробовик, что у меня уже не лезет. Я смерть, твоя мать.
I'm good. Keep your eyes open, okay?
My eyes always open. Opening, чтоб вы срались там, сука. Где мои патроны? Вот мои патроны, хп, погнали. 3 патрона выстрелил на эту мурло. Так вообще не пойдет. Так нельзя. Давай. Вставай, поднимайся. Рабочий народ наверх. Вот тут светит, конечно. Фонарище такое. Это чё? Еще один. Ну, это, короче говоря, как бы...
As you regular listeners know, I tend to work through the night, but I'm not the only one. Deputies Mulligan and Thornton are taking a couple of moments off their busy schedule to join me here in the studio. Boys, how busy are you now? Deerfest is almost here, isn't it? I bet that keeps you in business.
Pretty busy, yeah. Actually, Pat, we have to go busy with other stuff, which concerns an ongoing investigation. Can't talk about that. I wasn't gonna say anything. I'm just saying we got, other irons to fry.
And how would you compare your workload to last year's? Things have seemed relatively peaceful to me, but people do tend to get a little wild this time of year.
Oh, it's wild, Pat. It's pretty wild. There's been all sorts of trouble this year. Vandalism, fighting, public disturbances. A lot of people gone missing, too.
Yeah, it's pretty much the usual stuff, Pat. Just, a lot more of it.
Now, is it just me, or does Deerfest get wilder every year? People seem to be more drunk, at least, or they start earlier and younger.
Oh, it's definitely not just you, Pat, but...
Definitely, Pat.
Hey, I'm talking here, Thornton. Oh, shoot, I lost my train of thought.
Not just me.
Oh, yeah, it's wilder.
Миша. Ура, сверхурочный.
People who ought to know better, Kids are doing fine this year.
Ура, я дом сверхурочный. Отлично. Ты такой момент пропустил просто. Ванна со стримом. Это что-то эротичное должно быть. Поехали. Так, ладно. Чё. Вот там был самый эпичный бой вообще в мире. Вон там он. Вон там он. Бензопила. Ткуа! Так, бензопила тут неспроста. Лут. Привет, Никита. Лут. Да что же у меня всего достаточно. У меня патроны не лезут. У меня ничего не лезет. Выходи, вылезай куда. Ух ты, мать моя. Стоц, перевертоц. Все, нет у вас больше здесь. Хапай. Что это? Это полиция Лос-Анджелес, мать вашу. Даже не буду тебе еще один дробовик тратить. Самый понтовый перезарядка. Шо они вообще орут? Вальхалла. Что это? Это мой дробовик. И еще. И еще. Дробовик. Так я добрый человек, да. Самый добрый человек в мире. Это не отменяет того факта, что он, сука, пиздец. Так. Что это? Топор. Говно. Лезь куда, зачем? Это надо барри открыть. Что это? Там что-то есть. О. Окей, давай. Тут закрыто все.
Al? Is that you out there, buddy?
Yeah, it's me.
Hey, let's go, man.
Можно просто тут выйти, нет? Нет.
I think we're gonna have to work together to open this gate, Al. Looks pretty heavy. Hey, I think that's the farm on the other side of the field. We're almost there. This farm is a crazy place for crazy people.
We should feel right at home then.
Ну! Мрло, давай.
Come on, one more gate. Let's do this thing.
Старые боги знают правду. Это хорошо. Это значит, что они шарят, и они сказали правду. Значит, все. Значит, именно здесь, в Вальхалле, все. Короче говоря, нам дадут нужную подсказку, и у нас все будет хорошо. Вальхалла. Вот это Вальхалла. Всегда мечтал там побывать. Это Вальхалла, это ведь самая старая пати в мире вообще. Прикинь. Бесконечный пати такой. Открывай давай. Фьюзбокс. Асгард.
The power downstairs was out, but I was sure I could fix that at the fuse box.
И тут фьюзбокс. Не, это вообще туалет. Стоп, нет, не ванной. I'm here, отлично. Сам ваш, это... Еще один термос. Вот два термоса в одном месте. Прикольненько. Где их фьюзбокс-то? На втором этаже, что ли? Да быть не может. Уйди, блин. У Сани. Тебе нужен был такой пиджак и дробовик. Old gods know the true. Смотри, какой он мощный. Типа, Саня, это машина. Если ты дашь ему оружие, тебя не убьют. Это они тут спали. Опа.
Can you hear that, Al? Music?
Of course. We need to find where it's coming from. That's the message the Andersons talked about. That's the whole reason we're here.
Lady of the Light? That's gotta be what's-her-face, the crazy lamp lady from the town.
Cynthia Weaver.
Right. Must be.
Okay. We need to find Cynthia Weaver. We'll stay here for the night and head back to town as soon as it gets light.
Hey, Al. Lots of hours before dawn. Might as well get some rest. And by rest, I mean drunk.
Come on, Barry, this is... Yeah, what the hell?
Я побоялся.
Seriously, because I know we don't get along, but we're gonna find her, right? Even though you're a crazy bastard, I'm gonna stick by you, no matter what, ever, Al. Sure, like a brother.
I'm a writer, goddammit.
Correct.
If I just wanted to, I could write 10 books a year. And they'd be the best books that year.
No, you couldn't.
That's right, I couldn't. But I could, because I'm a writer.
What? What do they put in this stuff? I feel like my brain is coming out of my nose. I'm gonna get the recipe off those coots and be a booze millionaire.
I just miss her, Barry. I just want her here with me.
I know, Al. I know. It's gonna be okay. We're gonna make it okay.
Это Саня, если он, короче, перестанет в качалку ходить, такой же. Такой. Простите. Мишань, носи твидовый пиджак. Это охуенно.
It was a crazy drunken dream, and yet it was more than that. It was the truth, a suppressed memory unearthed by the Andersons' moonshine. I was there, an out-of-body observer. This was the night Alice and I had arrived at Bright Falls, the night Alice had disappeared. I had a chance to find out what had happened. I remembered being surprised to see the cabin dark. Alice would have never turned the lights off. I remembered thinking, I caught a glimpse of her form underwater, sinking into the darkness.
Твидовый. Ладно, какой на нем.
Was the last vague memory I had of that night. After that, the next thing I could remember was waking up behind the wheel of the crash car and finding the first pages of the manuscript. Beyond this lost memory, there was nothing. I had to follow the footsteps of my past self to find out what had happened that night. I couldn't find her in all that blackness. I must have thought she drowned.
То есть вот этого со мной уже не было.
Alice.
Jagger had Alice, and so she had me.
Alice!
I'd been easy prey.
Look at the cabin. Is there someone in the window?
Alice?
Maybe she didn't drown after all. Maybe she's inside.
Alice!
Yes.
The dark presence had touched
Вот
me.
этот пиджак.
She had dug her nails into my brain and used me, made me her puppet.
She must be here somewhere. Maybe upstairs in the study.
Alice!
Yes, that's where she is. You can apologize.
Alice!
You'll laugh at the whole thing together and put it behind you.
Alice!
She's not here. You were foolish to think so. No, she's dead. She drowned.
No, no, no!
It's your fault your wife is dead. You are guilty. All she wanted was to help you right. You killed her.
Ah!
Oh, hush. There's still hope. Cauldron Lake is a special place. Here, you have the power to change things. She wanted you to write. I will tell you what to do. You can write her back.
Ну-ка.
The story will come true, and all will be well again.
She had Alice, and the manuscript was the ransom for her. Yes. All right. I'll fix it. I'll bring her back. No. I wrote it. I remembered it all now. In the dark, I'd written for days, a week, almost a complete manuscript of a novel entitled Departure. Jagger had been my editor, whispering in my ear, making sure that the unfolding story would make her more and more powerful. I thought I was saving Alice. Even with the cobweb she put in my head, some part of me had been aware enough to write my escape into the story, to bring a light into the cabin to release me before I could finish, to interrupt the horror story before the ending, where darkness consumed everything and everyone. Zane was weak and far away, but I had written him into the story, and his light had been enough to set me free.
It isn't here now. I'm here because it was written. I brought the light to set you free. You must hurry. It will know I'm here. It will be back soon. It stole the skin of my Barbara a long time ago. She looks so old.
I had woken up, confused and groggy, my mind consumed by darkness and fear. All I could do was to escape. The week spent in the cabin had taken its toll. I was barely conscious, and fading fast. It had to have cost Zane terribly, thrown him even deeper into whatever dark place he now haunted. But he had managed to weaken the dark presence, kept me safe that night.
Да-да-да, вот мы ехали. А тут игра началась. То есть бах такой. Сейчас он такой приехал. Да, вот, все. И теперь мы здесь.
I wrote it. It's my fault.
That's right, James Joyce. It's your fault, and you're gonna pay for it.
Вот тот superior тут. Здравствуйте, ребята.
There's an old town road with mystery of Tom the poet and his muse, and a magic lake which gave a light to the words the poet used. Now the muse she was his happiness, and he rhymed about a great
Зейн — это муж Барбары, писатель. Ну, который... Что там, я не помню, с чем связано. По-моему, он ее убил или что-то еще. Ей нужна рукопись, чтобы уничтожить все. Она хочет всех убить. Ну, просто зло такое концентрированное. А он хочет ей помешать. Он был типа слабым, но Вейк, он смог вписать его так, что он стал сильнее. Банка из чего лопается. ЖБшку тупо порвал, короче. Если что, потом, гайс, я вам скажу название песни. У меня на нее по-любому страйк прилетит на канал. Ебать. Ну шо, гайс, я больше, к сожалению, не могу. К сожалению, не могу. Больше вот, поэтому... Сорян. Ладно, гайс, было прикольно. Но, короче, я, скорее всего, завтра и вечером продолжу. Вот. Все, ладно. Давайте. Короче, всем удачи. Всем пока. Наверное. Я что-то немножко уже устал за сегодня. Хотя, в принципе, играли-то всего лишь 2 часа. Ладно, давайте. Что-то время пролетело моментально. Ладно, давайте. Всем удачи, всем пока.